Welcome to the Autosportradio.com 2017 show. I'm your host, Don Kay. We are live from McGilvery Speedway, 30th and High School in the beautiful town of Speedway, Indiana. I want to remind you, if you're coming into town for the Brickyard, you want to make sure you make McGilvery's a stop. It's only a couple, 3 miles from the Speedway west. They got good food, good service, and of course the adult beverages are nice and chilled. A couple things to mention. First off, those of you who know Father Phil, he's doing quite well. He's still in Manor Care in Allentown, Pennsylvania. But if you get a chance, give him a call. He goes to dialysis Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you call him after 5 on those days. And his direct line is 610-861-1259, or his cell phone is 202-494-1200. If he doesn't answer one or the other, leave him a message. He'll call you back, although the direct line doesn't have a voicemail. But give him a call. He'd love to hear you. And he is planning on going to Pocono. The SVRA weekend this weekend was terrific. Got 2 female winners. First time at the Speedway. Sarah Fisher won her division in the Pro-Am. And then Sunday, our guest that was here, Johnny Unser's daughter, Lonnie, won her division on Sunday in the Enduro. So good for her. And, of course, upcoming this weekend, the Kohler GP at Road America. And you can watch the practice and qualifying at the online at racecontrol.indycar.com. And some of it will be televised. The qualifying will be televised on NBC Sports Network. And, of course, the race will be televised live on Sunday. For those of you who ride bikes, and I don't mean a Schwinn, I'm talking about a Honda or a Harley or Suzuki or BMW. Wednesday night is Bikers Night here at McGilvery's, starting at 6 o'clock, and they got specials for food and for beverages. So if you ride a bike, come on out, whether it's a 2-wheeler or a 3-wheeler, come on out, talk what it is that they talk about at bike nights. McGilvery's got it, and you'll enjoy it, I can assure you. And I've talked to Jane and Ralph Ligori. They're not coming up this year because Ralph has got some health issues, so they're not coming up. He's up and mobile and around, but he's having some other problems, so they are not coming up this year. Next week, my scheduled guests are the CEO of Hallman Racing and the Hallman and Company, Mark Miles, and the Pro Mazda driver who's currently second in the standing, and we'll see how he does this weekend at Road America. It was a big hit with people. Anthony Martin will be here. So we encourage you. Tonight's show is presented, as always, by Honda HPD, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the Verizon IndyCar Series. And if you haven't been over to the museum to see the A.J. Foyt exhibit, you got to go. It's fabulous. There's a book on it if you want to thumb through it. It's mine, so don't take it. When you take a look at it, it's really a good show, and you'll enjoy the heck out of it. So get over there and see it. My first guest is a gentleman that's kind of hard to catch him because he's been busy, and what he's been accomplishing is exactly what he said he would. He is the president of IndyCar Competition and Operations. Last time here he mentioned 3 or 4 or 5 things that were going to happen, and by golly, they have. He's back again tonight, and I'm going to ask him the next question. Please welcome Mr. Jay Fry.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I have said on this program a number of times, when you were here the last time, I had some concerns. And you said, well, what are they? Well, one is IndyCar grew and is an oval track. And you said, I'm an oval guy. You've added 2 ovals, Phoenix and St. Gateway. I said, I don't like the look of the car. What's the problem? I don't like the rear fender. It's gone. Is there another engine manufacturer showing interest? And you said, yes. But the problem is the aero kits are rather expensive. They'd rather spend the money developing an engine. You solved that one. That's no longer an issue. What's next?
I guess I should just leave.
Well,
sounds pretty good. Thanks for having me. All good. Yeah. What's next? Well, there's last year we came up with this 5-year plan, and it's this infamous 5-year plan, but that was all part of it. So each year what we're going to do is there's buckets of new things that'll happen. So in 18, obviously, it's the new car, which we're going to test that for the first time July 25th at the Speedway. So we're quite excited about that. There's a bunch of other things, little things that'll happen in 18 that'll enhance the new car, enhance the teams, the way they operate. So the biggest thing was getting the program kind of sorted and getting a plan. We've got a plan. We got it sorted. One that we think other manufacturers will be excited about, which is good. One of the things that we did when we went through this 5-year plan, or we came up with this plan, we talked to other manufacturers about it because it would have been pretty would behoove us to talk to them to make sure we didn't come up with a 5-year plan, and they didn't want to do that either. That would have been very smart. So a couple manufacturers were treated like they were with us now, and they were excited about the plan. Does that mean they're going to do it? No, but it means we've eliminated the hurdles for them to do it. So that's been really good.
The plan for this car coming out next year is 5 years. You expect it will last for 5 years?
It's for 3 years for sure. So what we try to do is we're going to try to always plan 3 years in advance so the owners and everybody knows where we're going. So in 19, we'll decide what's going to happen in 21, and then in 20 and 22, and then just keep it 3 years out. So it's for sure for 18, 19, and 20.
Now, something that's got to be a good thing for you and IndyCar is you've got some young drivers that are very talented, and they're just on the fringe waiting to come in. Now, Harding is going to run full-time next year. Nuncos is planning on running full-time. I think there's another team looking at running full-time next year, if I'm not mistaken.
There's been the Carlin Group has been mentioned before, which could be, really good, similar to the Nuncos Group. The Colton Hurdy kid, the Steinbrenner group that are doing some great things with Andretti's. So the future's bright. There's a lot of great talent coming up. There's a lot of good young ownership coming up. So that was one of the ownership piece was definitely something that we were trying to recruit and were lacking in what's next in the ownership piece. So having some new ownership come in is really exciting.
You can't do it, but it would seem to me that there's some of these guys, and they're coming out of Indy Lights that are really good and talented, but there's no seats. And some of these guys, come on, 40 years old, it's time for you to go out and get another job, do mulching or
well, that's not fair. I think it's as a whole. I think we have 21 full-time running teams right now, and the quality's very, very high. And I think we've had 7 or 8 different winners this year. So there's no one out there that's not competing at a high level right now. So, but it's a really good thing to have a group that's coming up and in the wings and waiting, for their opportunity. And they'll get their opportunity.
Now, there's been some squawking, rather loudly actually, about the schedule. And the poor guy, for the driver, he gets out of the car on a Sunday, gets on a plane, goes home, lollygags around until the next Thursday. But the crew's got to get back to town, got to turn the cars around if they're going from an oval to a street or road course or vice versa. And some of the guys are not happy. Are you looking at maybe spacing and run 2 races and take a week off and run one and take another, something like that? Are you looking to space it out so these crew members can at least have some kind of life?
Yeah. Well, we certainly tried this year because we basically eliminated in-season testing. They have one as a team. We try to do most of our open test or IndyCar test in the off-season. So we had one in St. Louis May 2nd, I believe, and then we have one in Sonoma on the Thursday before the race. So we try to reduce as much as we could the in-season testing to eliminate that. We just came off a really long stretch, obviously. So from here going forward, it does get better. Again, if you look at a calendar, you can look at it and go, yeah, if we went every other week or if we did this, and this, that would be great. And I 100% agree with you, and it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, we can't always do that because there's competition on the networks, there's competition at the racetracks, there's a lot of different factors that go into that. So we need to do some more things to help eliminate some of the burden on the teams, and we'll do that for next year for sure. And it can be just a day here or there that helps.
Oh, right? Yeah. Something that's bothered me, there's a lot of things that bother me, and in fact I bother a lot of people. How can we
fix that? What can we do to make it better? What do you think? We'll make it better.
Yeah. For some reason, now you and your staff have put on the track probably the best racing in the world, bar none. If you win a championship in this series, you have to be diversified and run everything, whereas other series don't have that. But what's lacking to get people to watch? Now, I sent an email to you from I forget what race it was. If nobody knew that the race was on television, they had to have their head in a bag of sand, because I don't watch a lot of television, but I paid attention prior to this race, and it was on all the time. And I say, if you didn't know it, and it was great.
Yeah.
But I don't see it that much. I don't see it as much as it seems to me they should promote the upcoming event. It's coming. It's Sunday at 3:30. We'll be live. Come join us. Or qualifying is going to be televised live or whatever. But for some reason, people aren't tuning in. Why?
Well, if we could figure that out, we would fix that.
I know.
Right? No, there's lots of things I think that's behind it. Partly, you mentioned earlier that Robbie Green was here a couple weeks ago. If you look at the cadence of our schedule, even where we start off, and we have two great broadcast partners, but we start off on ABC, and then go to NBC Sports Network, then come back to ABC, and then so it's kind of there's not a real good cadence to how it flows. I think if we help get that cadence fixed, it'll help a lot. I think once they do watch, they come back, which has been really good. The race at Texas Saturday night was entertaining, right? Edge of your seat, kind of entertaining.
As long as I didn't pay the bill for the damage, it was.
Wow, yeah. So it's fine. We got a little, not a heat, but in Detroit, we red flagged the race at the end to finish under green, which was something it hasn't happened a lot, but we do everything we can to end the race under green. Well, Saturday night in Texas, what we do is we have this window that we can, where we allow the cars to pit, and then you have a green-white checkered. We don't go into overtime, but you have 3 laps to finish. So at Texas, by the time we got the pace car in front of the field, we were already past that window. So we couldn't let the cars pit. We couldn't do everything like we needed to do, especially going that fast at that track. The whole field, all 8 of them that were still running, had just ran through a big debris field. So we could not go back to green without letting the cars pit or giving them an opportunity to pit. So again, we certainly don't like to have races end under caution, but we were in a bad spot to get it restarted.
I heard a lot of squawking about stopping every 30 laps to change tires, and to me that made sense because there's a lot of things that can cause a race, an ending, but you didn't want it to be tires. If there was going to be a problem, it was going to be something else. You didn't want tires to blister and somebody lose the race because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the reason, but that's how I took it. I said, that makes sense. You want the thing, give everybody an opportunity anyway.
Yeah, well, as you know, Texas does a phenomenal job. Eddie Gossage and his group do a great job for us and have for a long time. They repaved the track, obviously. We went to test there a couple months ago. And there were some things going on with the tires. The next day, Firestone had a tire test with 2 cars. They seemed to sort through the problem. We got out to Texas. We practiced and qualified on Friday. There weren't any problems. So everything was looking really good. We start the race, and the pace of the race picked up an incredible amount. The lights, there was a full moon. It was at night. There was all these things happening, and there started being some things going on. And it appeared that it was across the field. So to err, and again, Firestone was part of this, on the side of safety, we decided to do that. And I think it sorted the race out. It still worked out fine. And if you look at the cadence of that race, you have pit stops usually every 30 to 35 laps because of cautions or whatever. So it didn't change the outcome of it much.
It seems to me, now Phoenix used to be a phenomenal racetrack. The races there years ago were spectacular. Because there's a series that ran there that couldn't run that well, and they changed the track. I think they've done the same thing for Texas. It changed it quite a bit. And in fact, all the drivers said it's not the same. It's fast, no question about that. But it wasn't the same. And I don't know why they did what they did and changed the banking and so forth. It certainly wasn't because IndyCar couldn't run there, that's for sure. Yeah.
No. I think in Eddie's mind and their mind, what they did in turn 1 and 2, so it was 24-degree banked, now it's 20 degrees banked. It actually behooves IndyCar. It's better for an IndyCar in that regard. And I think next year will be even better. The second lane will come in. It was starting to come in the other night. So it'll come around. It was a very exciting race. So there was passing in turn 1 and 2, 3 and 4 there was more. You could see cars go on the outside and come off of 2 where they would be side by side by the car inside, but they could never make the pass. Where next year, again, the track has a year to age. It'll be much better.
Do you think, would you like to see speeds pick up? Would you like to see a chance to break the existing speed record at the Speedway, 238?
Why not? That'd be great.
I don't know.
No, so the new car, was kind of cool how we designed the piece. Last year we tested at Phoenix and Mid-Ohio, and we did some things to the current car that we wanted to do to this new car. It was overwhelmingly positive, the driver's response to what we did to the existing car. So we took that idea, then we aesthetically had a car drawn out like we thought it should look like, or what we were hoping it could look like. And we did that based off of 20 years of cars that we had liked, or different pieces and parts. So we track tested it, we drew something we thought looked cool, and then that car now has been wind tunneled, model wind tunnel tested, I think 8 times, and the numbers have come back and exceeded all of our expectations in a really good way. So this car is going to be fast, and we're going to find out, July 25th, how fast it is right out of the box.
Now, it was in the release said that you're looking for a non-full-time drivers to test it. You're looking for a couple of them. Mm-hmm. And they mentioned a couple of guys, and one that popped in my mind when I read that was somebody that I'm sure you're familiar with it, and a lot of people would like to see, and he's done what few race he did, done well, and that's R.C. Enerson. I think he'd be an ideal guy to test the car, but that's just my opinion, because I know the kid.
Yeah.
And he's a good kid, and he's
a great kid. No, he still has a great future, and again, you talked earlier about having, there's a lot of very talented drivers out there, there's just not enough seats right now. So part of it is getting new owners, which, we've got a couple, I think, coming, which is going to be great. So those guys will get their opportunities. On the drivers to test the new kit, what we try to do is we try to come up with 2 that are not full-time, but that are current. So current being that they're just recently out of a car, or they've been in a car but not running full-time.
I think Oriole Servia was one, and I forget who the other one was. Can't remember. And obviously,
well, he would qualify in that regard, yes.
There's something about IndyCar racing. I don't know what it is, because I'm still around. I've been around since the 60s, and I should have, packed it in and walked away. And a lot of people say, yeah, you're right, you should have.
I didn't say that.
But there's something about the sport and the people in it that I just find phenomenal. I think, as I have said 500 times, in a football team, they say it's a team. Well, if a tackle misses a block, big deal. The quarterback gets knocked down. He stands up. He might hurt a little bit. But if a team member on a race car messes up, can be bad things happen to the driver. So I think, the building and the understanding of how these guys, what they need, because I find it interesting. They could set a car up for you, you go out and run it and say, boy, that feels great. I get in and say, what in the hell is this? Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot. The driving style of 2 guys aren't necessarily the same.
Right.
I find that interesting, and having to work with them and having to understand, and the communication with the engineer and the confidence in everybody that works on you, on your car, that when you get in it and you stand on the gas, it's going to hold up. I find that very interesting and fun to watch, and I like to listen to what's being said and what they're talking about, and hear the driver communicating with the engineer.
It's amazing. I'm sorry, there's been times when a car is blown up in the last practice. They change the motors. The driver goes out to qualify. Right? This is the first time he's been in the car since the team fixed it. But to see a driver who has complete confidence in his team and knowing that they're going to take care of him is quite a sight, and it happens often. The craftsmanship that goes into building these cars is spectacular. The amount of man hours and the amount of touches to a car, all the parts and pieces, how they're built, the amount of people that touch a car before it becomes a final product is mind-boggling. So at the end of the day, to have a great product like we do it's quite spectacular.
And without question, when I ask a driver, you feel safe in the car? Absolutely. And having seen what happened to Scott Dixon, you should be happy. A safe car. The safer barriers has done a lot. So the safety in the cars and in the equipment, and I'm sure that the new car coming out for next year will have even more safety stuff built into it. And that brings me to, you build an engine, you think, gee, it runs great, but somebody finds something to make it better. It never stops. I mean, they keep developing new parts, different material, whatever it is they use, and the engine gets more power. It hasn't changed. It's still a little thing that sits there, but they figured out a way to make more power and more horsepower and more speed. I find that fantastic, and I think the Honda and Chevy duel this year is really good, because Honda's come back to life, and they're doing well. They've lost a couple engines, but that used to happen anyway.
Right. Well, that's certainly, they're pushing the envelope in a big way, and it is amazing to see. That's what we do as racers. I mean, you try to get better every day. You try to go faster every day. So it's just part of the evolution of what race teams do, is to try to get faster. So when you try to go faster, a lot of times you have to push the envelope.
A guy that I think has impressed everybody is Dale Coyne and his team. He made some changes in his crew, and he's had, I think, 4 cars crash. And 3 days after Texas, he's at the test. Well, how the hell did he get there that quick and put a car together? But he did, and that's what he does. That's what he's done for years, and it's really great to see his team succeeding and making some of these big guys go, wonder what he did.
Yeah, no,
It's
absolutely.
good for the sport, I think.
Absolutely, it's great for the sport. Dale's a phenomenal owner. We lean on Dale for a lot of, where we go to him for a lot of ideas on what we're doing and where we're going in the future. Been around a long time and just does an amazing job with everything he has.
And sells a lot of barbecue sandwiches to do it.
Sells a lot of barbecue sandwiches, yes, and good ones.
Yeah, Sonny's is good.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, he owns a number of Sonny's Barbecue. Most of them are in the South, I think. And I've been to several of them, and it's good. Do you see increasing the number of races anytime soon? Do you think next year you might jump up 1 or 2?
For 18, I don't think so, because part of what we've tried to do is have consistency and continuity in the schedule. So we feel pretty good about what we have right now. Adding St. Louis this year for the first time will be great. So next year will probably be really close to what we have.
I know the owner down at Gateway is just chomping at the bit to get IndyCar down there. He wants them down there bad. I mean, he wants a good show, and he's from what I understand, is doing everything he can to make it good for when you guys get there, everything's ready. And that's what you need. He's promoting the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people down there who say, we know they're coming.
Yeah.
We know they're coming.
Yeah, no, we're really excited. Curtis has done a great job, and we started working with him a couple years ago to get to where we're at. We tested there May 2nd, and there were some issues, and it was why we went to test. You go to test to find out where you're at and where we're at. So he's went overboard on everything he's going to do to fix it, to make sure when we come back August 26th, it is successful. And he's a local guy, very well respected in the community, and it should be a great event.
Well, if they don't have people, if people don't know that race is going on, something's wrong, but without question. And I think, I also got a comment, I think that the PR department that IndyCar has is probably second to none. You got some of the best people in the business, and the IMS radio network. I've spoken to a lot of people who say we turn the volume off on television, listen to Mark Janes and his band of warriors. So you've got it covered in all directions, and I think, to me, it's heading in the right direction. I don't know why more people don't, let's watch this.
Yeah, well, again, thank you. We've got a phenomenal group of people, and Tino Belli, Bill Pappas have been instrumental in designing and developing the new car. The PR group does a phenomenal job, so we're really excited about where we're at. But again, like you're saying, this doesn't happen overnight. So again, we have a plan, we have a process, we know where we're going, we have opportunity for other manufacturers to come in now. So all this is going to start. You'll start seeing results from this over the next year or two, and we're pleased with where we're at. But we know we got a long way to go, and we think we can get there.
Can you kind of speed it up? I'm not going to last forever. I want to see it
A year,
happen.
maybe 2 tops. Yeah, you can do it.
I can get
You'll
there.
be all right.
I can get there in a wheelchair.
You'll be fine. No, again, I think what you're seeing, you're seeing the product has been really good. We got some really great momentum. There's some things that, you talked about the television audience. At Texas, it was, I think, 40% better than the prior year. So those are substantial gains. So if we just continue to make gains like that over the next year or two, we'll be, in a really great spot.
Well, I think, from my side of where I'm looking, the job that you and your people are doing is second to none. You've got the right people in the right place to do the right job, to do the job that you not want done. Now, obviously, you're the leader, and you got to point finger, here's what I want, or here's what we want to go, and you get everybody together, you make a plan, and you follow it. And as I said when you were here the last time, you said, here's things we're going to do, and by God, you've done it. So now I suspect that the next move will maybe be a surprise, but I think there'll be a lot of people in turn 2 watching the test on the 25th.
Yeah.
See how the new car, because it does look good. I've seen, obviously, the renderings, the pictures of it, and I've sent it around to people and said, wow, that looks good.
Yeah, it's got a kind of a historical feel, but forward-looking, and the car's going to be fast. Thinking that one of the things, or numerous things, but the downforce has all been put on the bottom of the car where we think it needs to be. A lot of the parts and pieces are off the top, so the debris issues, and even on the safety part of it should be much better because there won't be as much things or as many opportunities to have things flying around. We're looking at all different aspects of this car. We won't know until we test it, but we're really excited where we're at, today.
I don't know. I would give it a right arm to be in your position. However, having talked to you and talked to people around you, do you wear a name tag when you go home? Do you get home and everybody recognize you because you're there enough?
Well, yeah, pretty much. So my family, my wife was actually the communication director for NASCAR back in the day, so we kind of all grew up in this, so they understand what I'm doing and where I'm at, so it's okay. They get it. If I'm home too much, it becomes a problem. Everybody understands that, right? Yeah, right, yeah. So there's a cadence to my life, too. Like we were saying, the schedule, so there's a cadence to how much I'm supposed to be home. If I get out of that cadence, it could cause, not always, but sometimes it can cause issues.
I understand.
Yes, sir.
I don't travel as much as I used to, but when I show up, I get told, "What are you doing here?"
Right.
I thought I was
Same
gonna
reaction,
sleep.
right, yeah.
But, oh, well, it's something we have to put up with. Road America, great place. I was there, I've been there except for last year and this year, all the times that IndyCar has run over there. And when I had my television program, I'd go trucking around with a camera, and behind the pit area, you go through the woods, and you come over a hill and come down, and I'd be following somebody, and all of a sudden I'm standing there saying, I've been here 10 minutes and I haven't seen that car. What the hell happened to him? So I'd walk all the way back to the pit area, find out the car broke. Then I got to start following somebody else. That's a big track, but it's neat. It's well laid out. It's in the woods. It comes out of the woods. It's got a lot of up and down. A.J. Foyt isn't real thrilled with it because he got himself pretty well banged up there a few years back, but it is a spectacular facility, and I think you drew a good crowd last year. I think you're doing better this year.
Yeah, so far we're hearing that the numbers are up from last year, and last year was a spectacular crowd, so can't be more excited to be back. Right, being a 4-mile racetrack is unusual, like you said, and it's funny, on qualifying day, so we'll have the Fast Six will go out, there's 6 cars on the track, and at the end of the day, those 6 cars end up getting in each other's way. They don't space enough, and you're like, how can 6 cars have a problem on a 4-mile racetrack? But it's all timed out when they leave the pits and that type of thing, so it's just part of the game, but they do a great job. Georgia does a great job. We're excited to go back for the second year. We should hopefully even put on a better show.
The thing is, when I have squawked about running oval, they say, well, we go to St. Pete and draw a big crowd. Well, it's March. Hello, people go to Florida. And you're something different. Well, look at Mid-Ohio. They could run yo-yo cars at Mid-Ohio. When there's something going on, people
So you
are
like
there.
ovals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
yeah,
it.
me too. I love ovals.
Good. And you
we
made
talked
a
about
step
this.
that way. Yeah. And you did it. You did what you said, so I can't say anything about that. That's why I was wondering, you're going to add one next year, maybe it'd be an oval. But
Yeah. Well, again, we added
St.
St. Louis this
and
year.
Phoenix.
Last year we added Phoenix and Road America, right? Well, that was last year. So, and Watkins Glen last year. Yes, ma'am. So, so we've added some. So it's kind of time to not catch our breath, but create some continuity and consistency in the schedule, which we think we have. And then there's no opposition to adding more, and I'm sure at some point we will, but we want to make sure we do it strategically, yes.
Well, all I can say is several things. First off, thanks for being here.
Well,
thanks
thank you for
taking
having
the
me.
time. And thanks for answering the questions and as they say, shooting from the hip, because everything you've said you've done, and your people have put together something that on the 25th of July, we'll get to see how good it is on the track.
We're excited.
And the wind tunnel is one thing. When they designed the new car, I said, how's it going to, oh, yeah, the computer says it's perfect. Well,
Yeah,
they went out
yeah.
track, it wasn't so good.
I'm with you. No, we always have talked about data doesn't drive, so
Right.
it's not, the data doesn't drive the car. So
Right.
we're really excited about where it's at. We think it should, based on everything, the knowledge and the team that's put it all together, it should be great. So we're excited about that. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. This is a legend in our sport too, right here, right? Not that I am. He is. I'm not. He is. I didn't.
Well, thanks for being here, and unfortunately for you, I know how to get a hold of your girl, and
You know how
I'll
to
call
get
you
a hold
again.
of me too. Yes.
Well, yeah, I do, but I
Yeah.
try not to bother you. You got better things to do than talk to me.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
And I will call you again at the end of the season, and we'll go over what happened.
Sounds great.
The
Thank you.
president of IndyCar, Mr. Jay Fry.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. My next guest is here, so while he's on his way, I will tell you that tonight's show is presented by Indy Racing Experience. If you haven't had a ride in a two-seater, you need to take one. And you'll find out why these people love what they do. Get a hold of them. So you can go on to IndyRacingExperience.com and look for a date that works. And then when you go to sign up for it, put in the promo box SJ1. That'll get you a 50% discount here at the Speedway. So look into it. It's great. You want to give it as a present. And if you've got a young kid, 9 years old or more, you can get a ride in what they call the Victory Lap. And you mention my name, and at the end of the ride, the picture you get is going to be free. If you need anything stitched, embroidered, do what everybody does. Go to Stitches 2 on Gasoline Alley. They can take care of anything. If you can drag it, send it, ship it, throw it, kick it there, they can fix it. Give Fran a call. Her number is 317-271-3444. Is it time to get new insurance for your home, your house, your car, or if you have a commercial building? Check out VP Insurance. They're located at 5004 West 16th Street. Mike Pardee can help you out. Let him give you a quote. You might be surprised, like a lot of us were. You get better coverage for less money. You call Mike at 317-248-0070. That's VP Insurance and Speedway, 317-248-0070. The SBRA left here this weekend, but they are not stopping. The 2017 Vintage Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio is this coming weekend, the 22nd to the 25th. If you're anywhere in that area, do yourself a favor, go see it. It is phenomenal. And if you have trouble with your computer, and I am born trouble with a computer, go call Computer Overdrive. Jack can help you, and give him a call. Tell him what your problem is. The number is 317-248-0766. Give Jack a call. He can fix your computer for you, and I guarantee you, you'll love it. My guest sitting here waiting for me to stop yapping is also a president. He is the president of the Speedrome. His family has been involved in motorsports for many years. His dad was a sponsor when this young guy was probably before he was born, actually. And they had they had a big restaurant out in the south side, and they're doing other things now. He's the president of Speedrome, so I invited him to find out how things are going. Please welcome Mr. Jonathan Bird. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Don. It's great to be back. You know, it was 12 years in between visits, and now it's 12 weeks in between visits, so I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Now, your dad was involved in racing for many years as a sponsor in the short tracks, and then he got into IndyCar, and he teamed up with a couple of Dick Simon for one, and provided hospitality for media, and was around, and then he passed away, and your family picked up Brian Clausen and sponsored him for a couple of years, both at Indy and at the short tracks. He was going to run 200 events last year, but you've shut down Jonathan Bird's cafeteria. Is the building still being used for anything other than maybe storage of furniture?
It's just been, we had sold it, and so our landlord we had for a couple of years, he's renovating the building right now.
Okay.
You see little changes here and there, so it's going to be really nice what they're doing with it over there. But yeah, it's been about a year now since we closed the restaurant portion, but you know, that's the past. The future is we've got a beautiful banquet facility up in Carmel, 502 East Carmel Drive, the 502 East Event Center. And we do our banquet and catering business out of there, and we have the contract down at Camp Atterbury. We feed a bunch of soldiers, and so that's been very busy this last few weeks. We've been delivering about 4,000 soldiers every day. We've got a couple dining facilities open, so, and not just one meal, 2 meals, and sometimes 3. So that's a lot of food going for our troops.
Wow. And you are allowed, yeah.
Well, thank you.
And how is it that you manage to spend a majority of your days at the Speedrome?
I'm a very lucky guy, Don. That is for sure. for years and years, being involved in the Speedrome, I just was very excited about the new ownership come on board. At least I heard the rumors about new ownership. The last 3 years were not the greatest of years for the track, and now that the Speedrome has been purchased in the last 6-7 months of work we've put into it, oh my goodness, it has been a rebirth and a renewal, and it's been a fantastic journey. A lot of hard work, though. I've worked pretty much every day since 1st of March, and it's been a blast. And to see the hard work and the fruit of our labors with literally double the attendance and the biggest crowds the Speedrome has probably seen in 20 years on a nightly basis now, on a regular night. I mean, we just had an event this past Saturday night. It was our Jake's 150 laps on the figure eight, and some of you may have saw the story in the Indy Star today and on IndyStar.com about the Speedrome, some really cool videos and pictures they had. And we had, it's just a normal Saturday night, $10 to get in, come out, have fun, concessions are great, parking is free, all that sort of stuff. And it was the biggest crowd, other than a $5 night or a night when in the past we just gave away the tickets. It was huge, and a lot of great fun and excitement, and oh my gosh, it was just an astounding night. And unfortunately, I had to be the concessions guy pretty much all night long, so I missed all of the racing, which is one down part of being such experienced in food service. I have to just be concessions boy for about 3 hours, and we were like non-stops from 6:15 to 9:15. It was non-stop busy in the concession stands. It's like Sunday dinner at the cafeteria back in the day, like Sunday rush.
Now, is Jonathan Birds providing the food there? Or preparing it?
In a small way, I'm kind of in charge of all of that. So I'm Jonathan Bird, and I've got some trusted workers who've worked for us for many, many years, who that's kind of like their second job, helping the Speedrome, and we're breading the tenderloins the same way, and we're serving the same great food I did when Jonathan Birds was actually in charge of it. So it's pretty much Jonathan Birds without being Jonathan Birds.
Now, the big question, the big one. If I get parched,
yes.
Is there anything with a foam on top of it that can be purchased there?
With what, foam?
Foam on top.
Absolutely.
Oh.
But it's all in bottles, so we don't. You make your own foam if you like. I'll give you a cup, Don.
Now, you said when you were here the last time that you had a goal for this year. Mm-hmm. First off, the gentleman that bought it has spent in excess of $500,000 upgrading everything.
Yes.
Putting seats in as opposed to getting splinters in your leg or elsewhere. And I didn't realize that on the west side, on the back stretch, that there's property back there. And
Right.
I had seen that your plan is to clear it out and make it nice and make it where you can have motorhomes or
Sure.
camp there.
Yeah, we cleared out that whole area. In fact, the last few weeks it was the home of the cars that we were preparing to crush and eventually did crush for our monster truck show we had the 1st of June. So, but now that's all cleared out, and we're going to be laying new gravel all in that hole. It's about an acre and a half of land back there. So a whole lot of gravel and more parking and more motorhome parking. When people travel from California, Washington, Michigan, Florida, who are going to come to the World Figure Eight Championship in September, that'd be a great place for them to have their fun times together.
Yeah, that's. I didn't realize, and I've been there many times. In fact,
Yeah.
one of the last
Well, it
times
used to be just all grown over and full of weeds, and
I didn't realize it was part of it.
I think when we cleared some brushes, we found like 3 cars that we didn't even know were back there. It was crazy.
You had indicated that you would be happy this year if you could average 1,500 a night, with your goal next year to be 25. Are you on line to do that?
Yes, that is definitely already within our goal, and then it's blowing my mind the numbers we have. I mean, I kind of had all my numbers from 2012 and 2013 when I was the concessionaire, and I kind of had an idea of what the numbers were. And so as each week comes through and I count up all the sales from all the concession stands, and then I actually get to see all the numbers. I mean, we almost had 2,500 people on property on Saturday night, which is just, I challenge, and I think our average, and I figured out, we've had over 25,000 people come through the gates of the Speedrome this year so far, if you don't count the Mexican Rodeo when there were 10,000 people there that day. But for the racing itself, we're averaging darn close over a couple thousand people a night. So I think the Speedrome is super blessed. I mean, short tracks in the state, we're fortunate to have fantastic tracks across the state running on a weekly basis. I would put the Speedrome numbers up against anybody's, the Kokomo or Lincoln Park or anybody running a weekly show. I hear some other numbers. I see car counts. Our car counts have been fantastic. We're averaging over almost 20 cars for our figure 8 late model division. We had 85 cars in the pits on Saturday night with just 4 divisions. We only had 4 divisions. It wasn't like we had 7 divisions and 85 cars. So that's fantastic. Our front wheel drive division is averaging almost 30 cars a night. We're super strong on tech, making sure it's a fun, affordable outing for those guys. Why guys want to spend $7,000 on a car that got out of the junkyard for $500 and putting, motors into it to just go try to win $50 is beyond me. I know it's about the trophy more than anything, but nonetheless, it's just crazy. So we've got a strong there. The fans are enjoying it. The fans are enjoying a fantastic atmosphere, a clean atmosphere, the new restrooms. The food is fantastic. We don't have lines because we move them so fast. And I found out one detriment to being able to have fast serving lines is we use up food really fast, so we need to bulk up the back end of our staff to make sure we had more sandwiches and hot dogs and hamburgers cooked and wrapped, ready to go.
I read that you had added some concession areas. You added ticket booths so people don't stand in line forever, so you get people in, which is what everybody likes. The last thing you like to do is stand in line for 20 minutes to buy a ticket for something.
Yeah. I mean, we sometimes even bring some other just people who are helpers and workers there. We'll stand outside the ticket booth and sell tickets for cash. We'll have 4 or 5 people on top of the 2 people who are in the ticket booth. And so those are all happy problems. We call those happy problems. Those are great problems to deal with on a nightly basis. And we've really had a blessed kickoff to this season. And it's hard to believe it's already the middle of June, and we're 11 weeks from our World Figure 8 Championship, when we're bringing back fireworks in 3 weeks. After 60 years of there being a fireworks show, there hasn't been a fireworks show at the Speedrome for 6 years, so a big family fireworks show on July 8th, and you want to get your tickets on the front stretch where there are the beautiful seating, and there's backs, and armrests, and all sorts of stuff, and you can see the fireworks, and those reserve seats are available. It's called the Speedrome, and be happy to sell those tickets to anybody. And I also brought some tickets for you here, too, like you asked.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. They're not good for fireworks night, though. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Well, for your big nights, I wouldn't expect it. For just a Friday, Saturday
But all
show.
the fun Saturday races, you've got a lot of great shows ahead of us still. We got a 100-lapper on July 22nd, and July 1st is autograph night, and you can't there's not a bad night to come at the Speedrome.
Well, I remember when Leroy Warner owned the track back I think he was one of the first owners early on.
Yeah, he was the second owner of the racetrack from the 60s into the 70s.
And some of the greatest racers in IndyCar racing from the past used to run there.
That's right.
Are you looking at getting USAC or any of those big, iPower or Power I or whatever, getting them to come there and run?
It's definitely one of my long-term goals to do either one of 2 things. I'd like to figure out how to do a pavement midget race, a USAC national pavement midget race, working with USAC, working with Hoosier, the organizations out there, to figure out a rules package that would make sense so that people aren't going to spend $5,000 to convert their car over. We want to be able to race a dirt car on pavement. I know that's crazy, it's hard to think of, but that is one thought. And the second dream I want to do is I want to put dirt down sometime near the end of the year and do a dirt midget race at the Speedrome. I think everybody in this room would come to that, would you not? I mean, seriously, it's dirt race at the Speedrome like the old days. That would be fantastic.
Well, the trouble is, now you had an area where you could steal the dirt. Now you're putting gravel on it. That won't
Well, we
work
got
so well.
another field we can steal that dirt out of. I actually heard that that's what they did one time in the old lot over there across
really?
the street on English Avenue. They just took the dirt out of there, but that would take some of our parking away. But in any event, there's dirt available.
I think that would probably be a very interesting show to come in and put dirt in there. And I'm sure there are
Well, there's-
guys around that know how to make that work, make the track and the dirt
Yeah.
raceable.
I've talked to the few of them and trying to get that feel of what it would take. And you see all these pavement tracks that have been doing it up in Michigan, and we know what Eldora did, and there was a track in Iowa or some other place in Wisconsin. I'm not sure, but they like to try it. And dirt racing in this country is exploding right now, and it's really strong. And not to say we're not strong, but I just know what the roots and the history of the Speedrome is a dirt track for midgets. And so I would love to just see that happen. But the strength of the Speedrome is figure eight racing, and we're probably ever going to go away from that because it's just so exciting.
It's amazing. The first time I saw a figure eight race was down in Florida, and what was it? Not East Bay. Anyway, Sunshine Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was walking up to the track from the office, I hear these people screaming. I look, here's a car coming at me. I thought, what in the world is this? Well, it's a figure. I didn't realize they had figure eight. And I ended up going out to New York when I had my television show to watch the figure eight race out there.
At Islip?
Yeah, I was there twice. I don't know why I went back the second time, but I did.
Couldn't get enough.
The thing that impressed me when I went out and watched the cars at the Speedrome, some of those cars are $30,000, $40,000 cars. They're not pieces of crap they bought across the street in a dump.
Not at all. No, our late model division, it pains us because we do want to keep it affordable. We've done things as much as we can to keep it affordable, and anything in racing, once you let the horse out of the barn, it's hard to get it back inside. But yeah, these guys are spending $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on their cars, running these expensive shocks and chrome moly, everything this, that, and aluminum, and just, and for what, for what, a half a tenth, a hundredth, those types of things. So we did some things to try to help the racers this year, especially the late model guys, and especially the whole racetrack is, the dreaded soaking, of work. We just say, don't have it on our property. But if you want to soak your tires, and if it helps the guy to race 3-4 weeks on the same set of tires, and he doesn't have to spend $100, $400 a set of tires we're not in the tire business. We're in the promotion business. It's helped our car count. I think we've seen the genesis of that. We've seen that this is working. It's working. It's letting guys race. I had a guy win a figure eight on 5-week-old tires. So that means, something might is working. He claims he's the best tire soaker to Speedrome. So, but if you ask him, he'll tell you that.
And it also amazes me that these guys have been doing it, a lot of them, so long, and they know how to get through the crisscross without wrecking. That amazes me. And they come sailing through, and they just miss, but they miss.
They miss, and that's what I was telling this reporter for the Indianapolis Star when he was interviewing me. I said, when you watch most stock car racing and NASCAR, whatever, the casual fan can't wait for the wreck, and they can't wait for the wreck, and that's the exciting part of a NASCAR race. Well, with figure eight racing, we hardly ever wreck, but the close calls happen every single lap, sometimes 2, 3, 8, 20 times a lap with all the different cars. There's always that element of danger. There's always that element of there's going to be the big crash, and you don't have it. And that's why after 35 years of watching figure eight racing, I never get to sit down anymore because I'm always working, but I will still jump out of my seat and kick a fence, whatever, for that close crossover crash. It's amazing. It's just totally, totally exciting.
And why is it the Tunnies
Tunny?
win all the time? They've been winning
Because
for years.
they eat, sleep, and breathe figure eight racing at the Indianapolis Speedrome. They're, the grandfather, Bill Tunney Sr., he had 2 boys, Bruce and Bill Jr., and they raced all throughout the years, and they brought their boys out from the time they were 5 days old, and that's all they ever do. They raced figure eights on their bicycles. They raced figure eights with their Matchbox cars. They did figure eight, and those boys had to pay their dues. Bill's sons, he was the brick mason. He never had the big time sponsor, the big time money, and he would just, he'd show up late and have to qualify last and be in the fourth heat. But he won a whole lot of races. His brother Bruce got the big time car owner, the big time sponsor, won tons of races. Now his son has the big time money guy. The three Bill's sons, those three boys, are all doing it on their own with sponsorship help, and that's all they want to do is race figure eight, and it's just amazing. And like I said, they paid their dues. Bill's sons, they had all raced Bessie. That's what was Bill's old car. They all had to race Bessie until they got a new car. And they just had to they had to get better at racing in the figure eight and at the Speedrome. And, now they're 28, 29 years old, but they're 10-year veterans. They're 12-year veterans of figure eight racing. Ben's a 3-time world champion. Mark's won the world championship. He won our Jake's 150. He won our 90-minute spring shootout. They love it, and that's what they live for. And if you beat a Tunney at the Speedrome, and this goes back, we've had two guys win late model races from out of town. It has not happened ever in the history of the Speedrome where out of town guys are coming to the Speedrome and beating our guys. So now more and more of the out of town guys, like down at Jeffersonville at Sportsdrome, they're seeing, hey, Corey Harmon won a race. I mean, I could beat Corey Harmon. Now they're coming. We're getting more guys that want to come race the Speedrome because we take care of our drivers. We've got great prices. We appreciate them. It's all the little things that I think that are missing when it comes to, kind of have that big time IndyCar feel. You try to, feel appreciated. Just doing the little things. Thanks for coming. Thanks for racing with us. Don't have that perception it's all about money. I gouge you on tires. I gouge you on fuel. I gouge you on your pit pass. I gouge you. I mean, we lowered our pit pass prices. Tell me another short track in the country that lowered their pit pass prices this year. I challenge you. And we lowered our ticket prices. We made the kids more of the kids free this year. I mean, we're returning to the traditions of the Speedrome. So I think you're just doing the right little things, and we build upon that, and we build upon that, and then we're going to be that. We're going to be that minor league baseball, getting the big time crowds on a nightly basis because it's fun, and it's entertaining, and it's exciting, and there's not a better show in town.
And it's affordable. It's
affordable, absolutely. $10, $8 for seniors, first responders, military and veterans, $5 for kids 9 to 12, 5 and under are free. We had 250 kids who didn't pay to come to the Speedrome Saturday night because they were 8 and under. We had a 200 kids, and we had big wheel races, and we got bike races coming up. I mean, race on the track and we invite people to the pits and say, come to the pits and meet your favorite drivers. We pound that into people's minds. We pound that in their heads. We want them to come out and see and just experience coming to find your favorite driver, get to know them, touch the race cars, feel the race cars, get in the race cars, experience it, and then make those people fans for life, that they come back and they know and they tell their friends. I think we have huge word of mouth right now within the people who come to the track. Our Facebook has exploded. We've had 5,000 new followers and likes since the track got bought. And I'm doing these weekly message from the track president from the Bird's Nest, and we're getting over 10,000 views on these first couple of videos I've done. So there's something happening. It's really exciting.
Gee.
You gonna come out down Saturday night? Are you sold?
I think. Do you run in the rain? Do you have rain tires?
We unfortunately we do not run in there, but we did after the shower. It was still kind of sprinkling, but we got the road runners and the front wheel drive cars on the track to help us drive the track. So we were kind of running in the rain, but not really. Wasn't racing. There's an art to that, I hear.
Yeah. Now you sit and listen, and you think this is all he's ever done in his life, but he used to run a restaurant.
I'm just a chicken cook from Greenwood. That's just all I am. I'm a chicken cook.
Yeah. And I found the story in fact, you said it last time, but your dad told me one time that the colonel was running up and down the highway with his white Cadillac, and he come knocking on your dad's door, and your dad turned him down the first time.
My granddad. Yeah.
Or granddad,
yep.
Okay.
Yep. Turned him down. Stone cold. Said 5 cents a head royalty was highway robbery.
However,
yeah.
You did get it.
That's right.
Did have one, and successfully,
yeah.
Obviously. Do you miss the food business, or do you have enough involvement at the Speedrome to make you happy?
I miss eating fried chicken on a daily basis.
What part is your mom doing now? Is she up at
You know, she's on top of everything. She's
No doubt about
yeah,
that.
I mean, she definitely has her pulse on what's going on with the banquet and catering business and everything like that, and the hotel business that we have. So, but to answer your question, I mean, I'd love that for us to have some sort of Jonathan Bird's food service location in Greenwood, because there's been a bird serving food in Greenwood every year since 1952. 65 years of Jonathan Bird, or a Bird family member, serving food in Greenwood. And I don't want 2017 to come and go to see that streak broken. But whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. I may be bored after the 3 hour. I need to start getting my next project going on.
Is your Cracker Jack still running your and I just forgot his name.
Kevin?
Catering, yeah.
Yep. He's
still there.
Still there.
I bet.
21 years now.
His last job before yours was at Fazoli's up here on Lafayette Road. That's
Yep.
where I met him.
Yep. He went from spaghetti to chicken.
He must
All
be
this
doing
food
well.
talk's making me hungry, Don. Come on now.
Have you found what have you found to be your best draw? The fact that it only costs $10 to get in, and you occasionally have $5 nights. Does that bring people in to see it, and then they say, "Wow, it's a $10 night next week, but we'll come anyway"?
We were actually all sitting around the pit office the other night, just trying to hypothesize, why are we getting this? I mean, actually advertising on television, running on Fox 59. Do we do some stuff for FMS? Does the radio? And I really think that we're seeing the fruits of the beginning of the year. It's $5 a night. We did an opening night. I don't know if I told you this story. So we did an opening night, and then at 8 o'clock that night, we were open for 2 hours. Kevin says to me, "You want to do it again? You think we should do it again?" I said, "Sure." So I got on the public address, and they interviewed me, and I said, "Hey, thanks so much for coming out tonight. We're going to do it again. $5 next week. Come on back to the Speedrome." And the crowd went crazy. I mean, it was like the loudest cheer ever. And then we did it a third week, 3 weeks in a row at $5. It was nuts. It was insane. The concessions, it was so busy, and it was everything. And I think just that. So that's a big factor. The other factor is the facility is really nice now. I mean, for a short track that's 76 years old, we've done a lot of work. It feels like it's definitely, there's just a lot of happy memories for people. And over the last 15 years or so, the place just hadn't had the work she needed to be done. So you add the $5 to all the work we've done with the great food, the concessions, the bathroom is totally renovated, and the racing has been great. We took care of the back guy. We took care of the racers. We wanted them to appreciate it. We wanted to let them know it was fair, that they're going to be able to race. When we have car count, and all those factors together, I think has contributed to our success. And then more and more people are hearing about us. I mean, we just had so this Saturday night, normal Saturday night, although we are having a car show at the Speedrome this Saturday. The National Guard Association of Indiana Foundation 18th Annual Car Show is moving their car show from Military Park downtown, and they're having it at the Speedrome. So we're going to have a car show for the first time, and it's $20 to enter, and they got 40 categories that judges, and they're going to land a Black Hawk right in the middle of the crossover. It's going to be super cool to have a freaking Black Hawk in the middle of the figure eight course. And it was kind of cool to have a monster truck riding through the figure eight, but a Black Hawk and the static displays, and then everybody can stay for the night and have great figure eight racing. It's just going to be a normal night, and there's going to be 79-degree warm weather. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be beautiful, and so we'll see what do we keep the momentum the last 2 weeks. I mean, June 10th, huge, biggest night ever. We just had 325 lap figure eights. June 17th, biggest night ever for a normal night. Well, we keep it going. It's been exciting to find out, because we have no numbers from the past other than what our eyeballs told us. And to be able to see on paper and to see exactly the number of people coming, it's going to be really a phenomenal experience.
Obviously, you and the owner have figured out that to charge $10 or $15 and get 500 people, you're better off to charge $10 and get 2,000 people.
You know,
It makes
something
sense.
to be said for that. I mean, we did the $5 thing, and we had, big crowds, and it's a little easier on you when you do $10. But where those crowds are coming, they're coming for that $10. Still doesn't make a difference. So, and you can see like Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. It's $10 again, and they have 18,000 people every Saturday night at Bowman Gray in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for basically the same exact thing. It's the same lunacy with their modifieds that our figure eight cars put on. And those people go nuts for it, and it's $10 to get in. And I got to meet the Greg Garrison, who's the promoter of that racetrack, at the Racing Promoters Workshop back in February, and picked his brain. And, he's like, it's entertainment. It's a show, They don't suspend people usually too much often. They said the racers work it out on their own. I said, okay, we'll see how that works for us.
Well, the owner's got to be happy with the direction everything's going, because he's put a bunch of money into it.
Yeah,
I
he
know
has.
at some point in time, he didn't get that money to spend by losing.
Right.
So he's put you in charge, and do you guys meet regularly? You have an idea? And he said, wait a minute.
Well, he
now.
comes to the racetrack every day. He's there every day.
I see.
So he's part of it, everything. We just laid another 40 cubic yards of concrete at the north end around the oval, on the inside of the oval part, to fix some more stuff on that, and about 8 other places in the infield that needed some work. And so he's there directing all that. It's truly amazing. He's there every day, and we talk about different ideas. And tomorrow we have a big meeting with a potential sponsor at 11 o'clock. So he's going to be a part of that meeting as well. So it's his other businesses, what they do in a day or a week or whatever, dwarfs what the Speedrome does. But I think he feels that same way. The Speedrome deserves to be very well taken care of, and that she needed this upgrade and she needed this renovation, and for him to be the steward of what is going on for the future of the racetrack, and hopefully I can be a part of that for quite a few years longer, as long as I get a concessions manager who can actually manage and let me watch the races and be a part of that part. That's what I'm really looking forward to on that.
What does your family think about all this?
They love it. Mom comes every Saturday night and volunteers in the kitchen. So she was my rock on Saturday night, because I was short a couple people, and she was wrapping sandwiches and hot dogs and cracking the whip back in the kitchen. It was great to have her, and then my kids and my wife have helped a few nights too. So it's definitely a big family affair, and everybody, they know that I'm excited about it, and it keeps me going, and I'm pumped about it. So whatever makes me happy, I guess, helps.
And poor David's down sitting in an office at a hotel that you guys own. And all he gets is people complaining, most likely.
And he sees all the good press that I'm generating, and so he's just getting jealous and stuff.
Does he come up at all?
He was in town for the 500, of course. That was the last time he was in town, and he came out for our big spring shootout. He was going to go to Little 500, but he didn't. He came to the Speedrome.
He better come to this.
That's right. He better.
I hope.
I'm going to put him to work in September for the 3-hour, though. He has to make his decision whether he's going to come or not.
Well, I think I would give him a hint. You're bigger than he is. So
Well,
he better show up.
That's right. I'm bigger, but he's prettier.
I don't know about that. Well, hopefully things will continue and go. I think you're in the right direction. I hope Kevin Miller wakes up and sets something up, because I think that'd be a great place to run 2 events, a dirt midget
said,
race and a national midget
We've
race.
had great conversations about it, just figuring out the X's and the O's and the blocking and tackling of it all, and the finances behind it. I mean, we can make it happen. I think we'll have a dirt on the Speedrome before there's a short track at the Speedway, though. Before that.
Well, yeah, that could be. You might be right about that. Well, you've got the big figure eight race upcoming. You got fireworks this coming weekend, is it?
July 8th. So we got that.
okay.
We got the National Guard car show this Saturday night, and then we've got autograph night July 1st. Then July 8th is the fireworks show, and July 22nd is Hall of Fame night with a 100-lap figure eight, and we got sponsor night coming August 11th. Then we got the 1 hour August 26th, and we've got the big 100-lap stock race the week after that. Then the World Championship, and then it's going to be September, and then it's going to be October, and then it'll be all over again couple months off and do it all again next year.
Yeah, and I suppose a couple months off, you're going to go down to Arizona and see what David's doing down there?
Oh, it'd be nice. Get away for a couple days.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time
Oh,
to
it's
come
my
over here.
pleasure.
And it's obviously from listening to you, you're bored. There's
Yeah,
not enough going on. Back to slinging chicken.
Figure out a way to fill my days.
There you go. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And I certainly, I haven't been there for a couple of years. I got to go back out.
Got to
and
come
watch it.
out.
It's a great thing, and I've got some tickets for somebody who's nice.
There you go.
But they got to be nice to me, and we'll see that they go and people show up. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Good
Appreciate
luck.
it. Thank you,
Good
everybody,
luck
for
what
having
you're
me.
doing. Jonathan Bird, the president of the Speedrome. We will be back here next week. As I mentioned, my guest will be the CEO of Hallman and Company and Hallman Racing, Mr. Mark Miles, is scheduled. And the young man who is currently about 8 points in second place of the Pro Mazda and are running twice this weekend, people enjoyed him when he was here the last time. He's a certified welder and has license to work on drilling equipment from Australia. Anthony Martin will be here. So we look forward to seeing you all back next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Don Kay saying good night. See you next week.
Hey, my pleasure. Well, it's been so long since I hadn't had chicken from like February till May, and we had chicken at the Speedrome, our chicken, for an event. So I actually had some chicken in May, but it's been 3 weeks now again since I've had chicken. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Van Bill and Carol Van Diemen.
Yeah.
Do you recognize the name Steve Mino? Martha Mino?
Mino, the name's familiar, kind of. Yeah.
Steve?
Hey, John.
Steve
Thanks for
works
coming tonight.
with Bill.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, and so at Christmas time, we always, the four of us are together, and I go, is Jenny what? Yeah, so here comes your mom, and she always has Christmas
Yeah.
dinner. Now, we've not seen her since Christmas, and that's why I'm holding up,
Where's Mom?
Yeah.
She's doing okay
She's
then?
doing great. She's really doing well. She works. She's just kind of a far. She's not, but she's kind of bored on Saturday night. So I put her to work.
Put her to work.
That's
Chicken
right.
wrap sandwiches, just good
She
stuff.
does great. Yeah, she does it awesome, and we really, like I said, she was my rock. I'm so glad when she can't come she couldn't come last Saturday night, and I was really struggling without her.
Yeah. Well, preserve that Jenny sign you always use for the Speedway. Hopefully you can use that again.
Yeah, because
That was funny.
she laughed and she said, I'm going to bring some red paint and get rid of this green lipstick.
It's a great stop sign to the
It was
drivers.
awesome. They gave it to us, so we have it out
Really?
right now.
Oh, that's
I hope she
funny.
puts it up on the wall. That'd be fantastic. Well, tell her, Martha and Steve Mino said hi.
I will.
That Bill Van Diemen and Carol and all of us together. She'll
We'll get the Van Diemens together.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Your old neighbors.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good to see y'all.
Okay, we'll see you.
Well, I only came tonight because I heard your mother was going to be here, but
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was the one who
that's
told
okay.
that.
It was him.
All I do is